And hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Huna Flesh TV. Sweet, sweet dear ones, sweet dearly beloveds. A very interesting week we've been having. I think you agree, yeah? Probably, you know, not just this week, since the beginning of, since from January, right? Since the purging and since the Lionsgate, it's been real. You've had to be real, right? Late, lately, and so we're happy to have some real guests here, some real Hunas, some real people, and happy to introduce Wadi Tusa, Huna Wadi Tusa, and Huna Wadema, Ritu, and George. Some of you have met George, and I'm happy that he's agreed to come and visit today, supporting his friend Wadi Tusa. Yes, they have been working together, and then happy that Ritu is able to be with us for the first time, and meet everybody, meet more Hunas. Um, you guys look amazing, wonderful friends you two are and have been for a long time. Um, if I may, I would like to, if you could introduce yourselves. Let's begin with Ritu, since you're brand spanking new, isn't it?
Sure. I don't
Same
know.
brand.
I feel like I met you a year and a half ago in Spain for the Dragon Riders. Then I met you again in Cozumel for Burning Mask, right?
Yep.
And I feel like they were seeds being planted for what I'm doing now with you, which is I've started the Dragon Masters course. And I didn't know where it was going back then, but now I see. So confirmation, my attention, my alignment, it's all happening now with you. And I'm hoping, I know today we said we were going to talk a little bit about the move from Atlantis to Lemuria. And that's interesting for me because you are the one a few weeks ago that explained to me that the beautiful technology I work with is Atlantean technology, and it can only go so far. That's why I feel like I've hit a wall with my own growth using this technology. I'm
Mm.
ready for what you offer with the Dragon Masters and Lemuria.
Oh, that's gangster, you know. That's gangster, and I mean, being real about this and honest and truthful about it. These changes, honestly, not too many are really being truly honest about the um, when they hit a brick wall. I mean, it's always not too easy to talk about. I know, especially in public, and the sweet dear ones here, they really appreciate this honesty. The whole world appreciates this level of honesty. This level of honesty is what we need, you know. And as you're revealing yourself here, Huna Wadi Tusa, I like saying that, Huna Wadi Tusa. Um, that revealing yourself here like this, that's triggering the audience, the sweet dearly beloveds here, and all who are going to come across this video. You're going to trigger them, and that's what we're talking about. Action. Let's get to it. This is gangster. All right. Huna Wadima, please, if you could speak a little on your behalf.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I mean, how we came to meet was because of Rithu, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to, accept this invitation to come in and support her today. Because, I got to know you thanks to Rithu bringing me to Mexico, and I mean, I was very curious by what you do, but not, I was just very open, and then I was really taken by it when I came into your countenance, and I really enjoyed that ceremony that we did together on the beach, and it was very meaningful. And I think for me, what has always struck me very profoundly with the Lemurian conversation is your term "before confusion," in the sense of, you see, I have profound memory of the end of Atlantis. Many of us do. Many of us have memory of misuse and the abuse of technology, and how artificial intelligence got flipped at some point in that timeline, and it became a dark satanic force to control the biological human as opposed to support it. And here we are again, but this time it's different, because last time we were frogs in a pot, but we didn't know we were being boiled until it was too late.
Yeah.
This time, thanks to the orange man, who's just obviously the face of it, we have a better understanding now that we are frogs in the pot and we're getting out of it. It's very exciting. But the point is, Lemuria represents, the pure essence of the divine human. And so that's what appeals to me.
Yeah, just a little thing, the word Satan didn't exist before Atlantis. It didn't. These titles and these labels, they did not exist. If we go before Atlantis, and what I mean is from the moment from a certain period where Atlantis was quite dense and it was quite impactful on humanity, and all manner of labels were being brought out, right? I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it wasn't spoken of in the let me say, the moments of Lemuria.
Maybe there's also an idea that Lemuria didn't experiment and in a deviant way experiment with the biological species. You see, Atlantis, like we're doing now and have done secretly in secret programs since the Second World War, have really experimented with fusing hybrids, creating hybrids between humans and animals and between different types of humans. I mean, if you think of the centaur, and all the different old, the sea goat, most of those, as you call them, Draco zodiacs, they do stem from that time when we were creating these hybrids. And I'm very fascinated. It's something I'm recently exploring, and I'm starting to release some of this information as I learn it, and hopefully we together fill in the jigsaw puzzle, is the sense of the Greek gods and the Anunnaki and even the Hebraic gods. They're really the same story.
Right. And we're living the same story, Ritu? Are we living, and some are still living the same story, or the matrix? Everything is a matrix. One way or another, everything is a matrix. Everything is a system. Everything operates in a certain way. Every action and light reaction response moves in a certain way, chemically, energetically, at the fractal levels, the atomic level, all these things. That's somewhat of a matrix. What is the intention? So what is your intention, Ritu?
My intention right now, moving forward, is to make myself limitless. Limitless. I love that nothing scares you. I love that nothing phases you. I love that you show up. You're in the moment. You are present. This very moment has your attention. I'm learning your words from the Dragon Master course. Whatever can resonate with me is resonating strong right now. Yeah, right now I'm ready to become limitless because I'm tired of hitting this wall with this Atlantean technology. And by the way, I don't want to poo-poo this Atlantean technology. It saved my life. It saved my life. Just to give you, if I may, just 2 minutes on how the importance.
Go for it. You go for it.
Okay. When I would say, when I grew up in a very loving household, very love everywhere. I knew I was loved, the most wonderful parents. The problem is that it was the saddest household. There was love, but there was so much trauma, so much suffering. For example, my mother lost one brother in a car crash before I was born. Then the other brother came and lived with us. I grew up with him when I was 12. I loved him. He was my favorite uncle. He died in a plane crash. I was supposed to be on the plane with him. Wow. Suffering. My parents' marriage was suffering. And here I am, this child, this nurturing child, supporting my mother and being her life raft when I didn't realize it, right? At 18, I broke. And for 13 years, complete darkness. I was on the ground without a flashlight trying to crawl my way through. And I didn't know why. And then after that, I found this beautiful quantum biofeedback system. It taught me I'm a vibrational field. It taught me the power of my vibrational field, the power of my thoughts, layer by layer by layer over years. It peeled off layers. It was a 30-year depression I was in. But thanks to this technology, I peeled away the pain, right?
Yep.
Now I want to go higher. And I can't anymore. I can only go so far, as I talked to you about. I've hit a wall. I'm ready to be limitless. So that's my story and why I'm here.
Who doesn't want to get high, right? Who doesn't want to get higher, right? Who doesn't want that? You say you've hit the wall, and we're grateful for the technology. These are lessons. We're grateful for the peeling of the onion, you know. And if it wasn't for you being a frog in a pot, or maybe in the mouth of Grogu and the Mandalorians, you wouldn't fight your way out. And that's being gangster, fighting your way out of the pot, and using and working with everything that you have at your disposal to get you there. Now you're here. We started at the bottom. Now we're here.
But it took too long. It took too long.
Here, right?
It was too much suffering.
I mean, it seems like it took long, right? But then it didn't. Then it isn't. And it's just a moment. Remember, look for a moment. Just look back and remember for a moment. It's a flash of light. Just whoosh. Now here we are. The whole crew's here now. What's that song by Drake? It's gangster. Started at the bottom, now we're here. Started at the bottom, now the whole crew here. No? It's one of his famous tunes, and that's exactly it. We're here now. And now we have those, some of those who are remembering so much more, and now we realize there's so much more to ourselves. God damn you, there is. Are you kidding me? I'm excited now because you're saying this, and I'm so grateful that what Maya's here, and you are speaking these sounds. We're grateful that we come to this moment. It was something that I was asking for quite some time, that you would both arrive and we get to have this conversation, because that burning of the mask was really a part. It was a part that had to take place for you to peel the onion, burn the mask, whatever I could for myself to say that's going to get us there. Now we're here. Now, limitless. You are limitless. You are infinite. You do not have a name. You have an action. You have a sound. You have a light. What is that? We can discover what that light is, or even find a way to speak to that sound. And the way we do that is through the Huna. And the way we back up the Huna is with the Dragon Master's tools, or the tools of Lemuria, coming through the Dragon Master's course, as I have been afforded the opportunity to title that. I quite admit, I call it the Dragon Masters. And there is some education to just even that title. But what it refers to is one who is in command and control of their emotions, not requiring, what includes not requiring the training wheels of the draconian systems, not requiring the train. Now you can take the training wheels off and graduate high school and move, and now come to kindergarten. Now come into playtime. And in the playtime is where Lemuria is. Now, don't get me wrong. There were things in Lemuria that we were working with in terms of understanding ourselves as a being, hence the giants of Lemuria, the ancient ancestors of many of the hybrids that you see and that you've seen in Atlantis. That is technology that already existed in Lemuria. We weren't naive, we weren't innocent, we weren't gullible. We understood intention, very much so. And our intention was to be the ones who stood for peace the best we could. That's one thing I remember. That the giants that stood for peace were known as the Rongo Kako. That's why I say these names, Rongo Kako. I want to trigger somebody. You know, not necessarily the Nephilim. The Nephilim are just the great grandchildren of the Rongo Kako. The giants of Lemuria were peace bound and held that intention. Lemuria was about nature. We could access dimensions with all kinds of structures and technology we needed. We held in other dimensions. We didn't build them on the planet necessarily, as you would see cities and civilizations and these pollutions that came with it. We knew that. So we built civilizations within different dimensions, in higher dimensions. And we would always return to the innocence of this planet in Lemuria in the time. So there was the guardianship and protectorship that we were holding. And so when we're working with the Dragon Masters, we're working with some of those tools. You already are a walking med bed. In other words, yes, you biohack the machine, biofeed, feedback, also tester, coil, the beds, the mats, the biomats, the feedback mats, all kind of mats happening now. Mat this and mat that is all kinds, but also it is also there to also remind you to go deeper and activate your own energies, that scalar energy within you, the magnetic field within your kidneys that's generated by your kidneys, by your organs. You have organs that the AI is fashioned after, right? This what is that funny little machine it's called? It's a little box.
The Rife box,
Something like that.
The Royal Rife?
Is it the one which you mean, the one that identifies each frequency?
Yeah, that frequencies, but also has other healing. They say it has millions of technologies in the healing.
I mean, you've got the beamer, you've got which is all part
That's
of
a mat, right?
Yeah, that's a mat. But
Yeah.
the Rife box is really.
I think you were talking about the Royal Rife machine,
Yeah.
the
I
box.
think I was talking about. They called it when it came out a few years back, the feeling. Oh no, the Healy.
The Healy device. Oh, that's
Yes.
small. Yes,
I think
I've
now.
got one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you had one of those, and I mean before that there were little pads you stick on. There's probably more pads you can stick on. My point is, if we look at the Healy, and it's introducing trillions of fractal levels of energy. When I was at the mystery school, we learned about the gods of the body, in the body. We called them Atua, which are deities. Okay, the Atua in the body. This is what we know as indigenous nations.
So
Now, you take all of the Atua and you put them in the box, and what do you have? A Healy.
I think this is the difference between what Lemuria offers us and Atlantis and the modern era now with artificial intelligence. We're always still trying to get healing from outside. You see, I did a little talk the other day on goosebumps, pilar erection, because at the end of the day, goosebumps are the precursor to a Kundalini awakening. And really what we've got to do is we've got to get the body back into a more powerful form of homeostasis where it can receive its inner technology and utilize its inner technology more effectively, because the body's been traumatized very deliberately by a mixture of conscious deliberation on the part of satanic powers of, air pollution, water pollution, food pollution, but also on an unconscious level. Once we can pull back to that Lemurian homeostasis, then things like sound bowls, sitting under a huge church bell, which is what I like to put patients under, because that can activate the Kundalini remarkably, rather than always having to rely on the EE system, which is brilliant. Everyone's doing this now, but we're still giving power away to another authority.
And it's fun to sit under a healing device. That's fun too. People can gather for that reason, and that's always good. So, like for instance, we had the burning mask in Ireland. We had the home drum or the grandmother drum, huge drum, right? And you laid underneath that thing, and boom, you go right through to your root chakra, right, and just come out of there wobbling. Now,
Huna, I wanted to say, what I hope to do with the Dragon Masters course is not just to have my own recognize and have my own power, right? to be able to help myself heal the way I want to be. But being limitless to me, what the goal ultimately is to be able to help children, to never forget where they've come from. You can ask George. Children are everything to me.
Yeah.
They mean everything to me.
George, is she lying? George, I'm going to ask you, is she lying? No.
Am I lying?
You
No,
said
no,
ask George. I'm going to
not.
ask George.
But children are really what we have to protect the most, because they carry that pure light, which very deliberately is being shut down through the negatives of the artificial intelligence today. With the 76, protocol of vaccines, etc.
And the school system, and everywhere we were that light. George and I sitting here, you sitting there, you were that light, that beautiful light of a child. You obviously were able to keep yours by having parents that sent you to a mystery school, right? We lost our light and had to refine it. I don't want the children around me to ever lose their light.
And you're exactly right. And, that's why we're here to help guide that, to also ensure that, we're going to have to get muddy and dirty. We're going to have to get dirty. Your hands are going to get dirty, George and Ritu. You got to go to the places where your hands and your feet will get dirty. And this is what is, as a dragon master, is to help you go there and come back again. Go there and come back, go there and come home safely. Take each other there and bring each other back safely. Where? In the consciousness, in the portals, where in the DUMBs, the military bases underground, where in the hospitals, where just even getting in a bus and going to do the things, getting on a plane. The Dragon Masters are needed now. That level of self-protection, to understand you're infinite and eternal and limited, but walking that way and having the tools in your pocket, right? Not just relying on some divine understandings, but actually practical tools. The voice, your voice is activated to the sacredness of breath. That with everything you say coming out of your mouth is a tool, and it requires another language for that.
There's also going to be a relearning of history. Because a lot of, I was just at the Mayan pyramids of northern Georgia last week, and these pyramids are as big as the Egyptian Giza Plateau. Right. It is what it is, and yet most Americans all around the world don't know of these pyramids because, they've got trees on them now, but you can see them, and we did testing of all the water around them, went into some of the tunnels. It's remarkable, and I think we're going to have a flurry of disclosure, which is going to, in a way, bring us back to that Lemurian frequency of understanding the ley lines on this planet, which, once we reestablish that, then we can turn on our own activation codes.
With the Dragon Masters, going there and coming back, going there is to show up. Not everything can be done remotely. Not everything can be seen with precision through the atmosphere. Not everything can be seen or felt through the magnetic field in a way, because it's also being manipulated. You have to be aware of these things. What are you going to do? You have to go and be there to see it and be right in it. That's why I say you're going to get your hands dirty. George, you'll be getting your feet and your hands dirty. Ritu, and we need more of that. And then the tools coming out of the Dragon Masters, number one is to aligning as we're talking about Lemuria, but even if we don't say Lemuria, aligning to the relationships of the planet in its proper rotation of connected to the creation of life and not the destruction of life, are aligned to systems that are not of hatred and do not cause fear and do not threaten each other. That humanity can be together and not just have it to say unconditional love, but in the very basic, simple terms that our systems do not create hate with one another, such as many systems we have from,
the polarity is encouraged, you see, deliberately. And so what Lemuria, is trying to reestablish is existing within the polarity, so it's healed towards unity consciousness.
That's from inside out.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and so in the field inside it, so you got to show up, you know.
Yeah.
Now, the Dragon Masters, right? There's an alignment to the energies in a way, and there's a breakout of the matrix to a breaking out of this threat and breaking out of the fear and breaking out of that matrix into benevolent system, benevolent alignment, which is where we all ultimately are from. And so the Dragon Masters reveals what is spoken of as kaha. Kaha. The kaha. That is a system of chakra systems that are always as one and not separated. And to be into the one kaha system of the chakra systems aligned to the harmonic frequency always. Without even trying.
This what you're saying right now, it's reminding me of the reasons I've been gravitating towards you. Like I said, the Dragon Riders was a breadcrumb. Cozumel was a breadcrumb for me. And now I've come here, and the things that are in my mind that were also breadcrumbing me were when you, first of all, you're magical. Your form of spirituality is mystical. It's magical. And I am tired of what I see around me as when I was a progressive liberal, that whole thing of spirituality, which is, Om, and I meditate and I use oils and, don't talk about anything dark. If you talk about darkness, that's because it's inside you. So stop talking about the dark. You know what I mean? So that was purposely, to me, that's cabal garbage to make sure that we don't look at the true darkness that's on the planet, right? And you, since I met you, have been looking right at the dark. And this story that you told, it still gives me chills, about how you were getting ready to go into a portal. And I don't remember which one. It was a dark portal. And you were having dinner the night before.
Oh, yeah.
And, Huna, I have goosebumps. I have skin erections, George, all over my arm. I love when he calls goosebumps skin erections. But this story, I think that, I don't know if you should tell it, but it gives me goosebumps because I want to be that. I want to be that person that you were describing yourself as at that moment when you were having dinner. Will you tell the audience?
Well, a Dragon Master is one where the dark ones will come and ask you, what's it going to feel like? When you are being asked by the generals of the lowest realms who represent the lords of the highest realms, and they're asking you, well, what's it going to feel like? What's going to happen? And
because they were scared. You said they were scared.
I wouldn't say they were in fear. I think there was a curiosity that came over them. It was that came over them. What is this? Because they have an experience with me from before, from other missions. And so they know they can come to me, that I won't ultimately eat them right there on the spot, because that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, no. And so my energy won't eat them, but I'm going to allow for them to speak. That is one thing. If they can trust me, and that is to say, am I in allegiance with the satanics? Am I in allegiance with the generals, the hell and the underworld? No, they can trust me that they are going to learn something. Because they think they've learned everything. They think they have learned everything. They not think, I don't think they think, but they feel that they know enough and know everything, and do not feel humanity is able to show them anything. And we made a proclamation. We made proclamations a long time ago in the Black Forest and said, we're going to show this to you. And so from that moment, because it wasn't just this moment you're talking about. There were other moments where I had to show up and I had to drop my guard, and I had to drop all my guard and not eat anybody. I had to drop and not fight them. I had to sit and allow them to attack me and pull me to bits. When I learned how to do that, they learned that they cannot pull me to bits, because every time they tried to rip me and tear me apart, I'd reappear again.
I mean, it's almost like being in the Matrix movie and learning that it's all an illusion.
Yeah, and it's like they think, "Whoa, shit, we can't even get rid of this guy."
That's very powerful.
Yeah, and I remember something.
There are some like this, you know. There are some masters, and no, I would say masters, but there are some who are of this way. The Bindi masters, the Buddhists, you know, they are of the they are, and some are not that claim they are, but they are not, clearly not. But allowing to be for them to learn. That's why they came to ask, not fear. They go, okay, what is it? What are we going to learn? In other words, you know.
I mean, there's this wonderful part in the hero's journey, you know, which actually George Lucas, you know, puts into motion picture in Star Wars, when Luke Skywalker goes down underground and he meets the vision of his father, Darth Vader, and it's him coming to terms that, you know, if he's going to be struck down, it's an illusion. So it's almost like stepping over the threshold, isn't it? And being secure in your own faith, which then propels you forward into the new reality, as opposed to being in the fear. It's a vibration.
Do you trust yourself?
Yes.
Do you have full faith in yourself? That is a dragon master. And a dragon master can go there and come back again, can take others there and ensure that they return. Ultimately, we are all dragon masters. I just bring it to this simple, practical way of sharing it without being pushy and, you know, telling you gotta this and that, or you know, the languages that have been used over the last 100 years to now remove that vocabulary. Some of the vocabulary can go away, and we can return to the light language, a language that you not just are blabbering out of your mouth, but you actually know what you're saying when you are speaking the light language. Know and feel and translate it for somebody.
Yeah.
So they also are not in fear, and some don't do that. These are things that some don't do. Many don't. They'll speak the light language, and they'll portray a kind of a divineness, and then they'll ask him, "Do you know what you just said?" You know. And I'm not picking on them, because those that are listening are also wanting to know, what did he just say? What did she just say? They're not able to connect telepathically, perhaps, but this should be translated. You're all.
Oh, he's frozen.
Oh no, you froze.
Is that us or him? It's him.
Yeah.
I think, Huna, you've frozen. But the lips look great. I don't know whether other people can see it.
He'll come back.
Does he? Well, I don't really know what happens.
Huna, we miss you. Yeah, he does look great though, doesn't he? Let's keep singing. Oh no.
I hope it is. It's the only way to refresh it.
Well, let's see. Well, you go ahead and why don't you regale the audience if they can see you with something, and I'll try to figure out. Why don't you tell them? Let's see. Tell them about how we were friends in Atlantis. Maybe they can hear you. Who knows? Tell them how we were friends in Atlantis. And
well, I have some memory of you being a high priest in Atlantis.
Yes, I was the man, right? And what were you? You told me.
I don't really remember who
you said you were a woman, and we probably had sex.
Did I?
Yeah. And then I was still stuck in trying to imagine being a man. But that's what's hard for me, is to remember all the different past lives and how we held different forms and were different beings. But no, you were the first person who's ever looked at me and said, I remember you from Atlantis.
Well, I definitely remember Atlantis quite profoundly, especially at the end of Atlantis when it began to be inverted.
Yeah.
And this is what's really happening at this time now. But the difference is, as I said a moment ago, is we've realized in time the inversion. And obviously it's painful for many of us who've been awake for a while. I mean, some people like David Icke, of course, have been awake for 40 plus years.
What a man, yeah.
But, even if it's just been 6 or 7 years, it feels like a long time sometimes. But more people are awakening.
Okay.
Huna
just said the power went out where he is, so he's coming right back. So I don't know if people can see us or we're just talking into thin air. But you also, in addition to recognizing me from Atlantis, and I have memory and understanding of using the quantum biofeedback system I use in Atlantis.
Yes.
But I don't remember details or anything. I just recognize the technology. But the other thing you said when we first met was that you also remembered our time in Lemuria, which I have zero memory of.
But it's interesting because with Lemuria, I mean, like this sort of instrument.
Oh, look, is he?
I feel Lemuria tends to rely on beautiful instruments like this. So it's all to do with the frequency that we can activate within ourselves through natural sound, where a lot of technologies in Atlantis, even if they're very benefic, they can be inverted because the technology is coming from without rather than from within. So if it's benevolent, they're going to help serve us. If it's negative, malevolent, then they're going to go against us. I mean, I'm not going to mention some brands, but there are some brands, for example, today, which do good things, but then you can switch the frequency and then it becomes negative. So we have to be much more mindful with this. Any type of music that Huna and all of us practice, it's much more organic. It's much more biological, which for me is what I like about Lemuria. We're tapping back into the natural frequency of our planet, where we can be in sync. And I've talked last time on his show about 432 hertz. I tune my piano. I've got a piano behind me here. You can, it doesn't matter.
Why not? Just for fun.
I have a piano here,
this piano.
and I tune that to 432. And my other piano I tune to 432. So anyway, you're back, Huna. We were just trying to, keep the audience alive. Can you hear us? We can't hear you. Oh. Okay, so the sound is still gone. I see.
Oh, his sound is still gone.
Yeah, your sound is still. You're on mute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a mute sign next to there.
Oh, there we go.
Are you?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. Okay,
Good.
great. Sorry,
So
that was very interesting. What I was just saying about the power, and then the power went out over here. When
Sometimes it's very literal. I was doing some light language on some patients in Virginia last night. I actually drove 12 hours from North Carolina yesterday to New York today. And I stopped last night to do some light language. And it's funny, I haven't shared this in public before, but I think this is a nice place to share it with you.
Yes.
When I do energy work now, I do it with sound. I can communicate with other forms, and they communicate with me through the electricity. And I think we've all had this experience before, that the electricity is their way of communicating with us. And so for me, when I'm doing a healing and I need confirmation, the electricity always goes in and out. So the fact that the power went out with you, Huna, maybe it's confirmation that you're onto something.
It's demons in the portals waiting for you to come.
Yeah, well, funny you say these things. Hence why they nicknamed me Huna Flesh. Is that my Huna expressed essence is expressed as let there be light. Okay, that is the expression of my Huna. Let there be light, and as the other part of it is it Kumara, which speaks to what kind of light.
Yes.
Okay, what is the action of that light? The quality and these sorts of things. Okay, so this is and the Kumara referring to the light, crystal light of days, as you understand what the Kumara represents from historically from Lemuria. It was the Kumaras that spoke at the end of Lemuria 4 that proclaimed that Lemuria 5 was going to return, and it will be Lemuria 5, and this is why with the deities and the energies of the Kumara, be they Sanat, be that Gabriel, be they these beings of the violet ray, to usher in Lemuria 5. Now, what kind of light? What is the level of light that is communicative? The level of energy, the level of the electricity that supports the light to be a communicative one. Okay? So communicating through, like you say, through the electricity, power went out. Literally, I live literally. I have a literal existence. The literal? Can I say that? I don't know if that's literally. I'm
No, you can say
encouraging.
you have a literal existence. You can say that. That does make sense. Yeah.
Because I'm not cautious of the languaging in the English, because I'll speak it. I'm not so cautious that I'm, have the fear of it, because it's entirely fraudulent, mostly, except for some words.
It is.
But in the changing of the vocabulary, Lemurian language is not a language; it's a way of communicating, and there are 9 ways of communication within the Lemurian essences and communicating, and they all carry energy. So it's speaking energy.
It's very telepathic and telekinesthetic. Yeah.
There's the telepathics in the breath that come out of your mouth, right? It's kinetic too.
Yes.
Right. It's telekinetic as well as telepathic. Yeah. And I'm quite literal of that, because I live by some of the stories that I enjoyed growing up. I was sharing one recently, okay, and there's sweet dear one, sweet dearly beloved. Let me just take a pause, since I shifted over from this power shift. Let's just take a second here. I want to invite, as I get into this next verse, I'm going to invite you all to come to this position. Okay, moving from here to moving to this position. Can you see my hands? Okay. The left hand is up. The right hand is like a plate. Okay. It's just, and at ease. I'm just going to invite all of us, just because that energy that really shifted up is an upgrade. Where the power went out and went and came back. We went there and we came back. Now we're coming back, and this time with upgrades. Through your nose for the moment. Just breathe through your nose. Close the mouth and just breathe through your nose for the moment. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Now, talk about the energies and the shifting and the support with the light that you exude, that you express. The octopus of late, in the past month, I would say, but longer for sure, has been so incredibly generous in this past month. The octopus is the energy of the octopus. We refer to the octopus as feke.
When I was in Playa, I got one of the, I got those octopi that they make, the little beaded ones on the sand. And I got 2 of them. And I remember you were letting me know they were feke. And I'm so excited to hear about what the energy of the octopus is. This is, yeah.
The energy on the Lemurian level scale before all the confusion. The feke is a star nation that supports the whale and the dolphin's intentions. And it is somewhat of a pirate, yeah. And you can watch the movies like Pirate of the Caribbean. What the captain was an octopus, right? Feke, but he was inverted, right? If you watch the Marvel Comics movies, there is the Hydra, right? They use the feke energy, but it was inverted.
Inverted, yeah. Because they're very intelligent, the octopi.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a story for you. All right. Now, Feke, when you engage Feke, this being is in my lineage, has visited my canoes and my longhouse over the generations, is carved onto my longhouse of my tribe in New Zealand. Big, huge Feke climbing, being pulled into the canoe. It's a big, huge carving. And right now, so Feke, there's so many stories to speak about Feke on the benevolent side. It is the most incredible thief, the most incredible pirate, and it will take the things and bring them back for reasons of love, for reasons of love, for reasons of community, for the ideals of the highest feelings. Now, I was doing work in Switzerland to crack open the safe in the UBS bank and the Bank of International Settlements. I was on location. I lived in Switzerland. I lived around the corner from the International Bank of Settlements to do these ceremonies, to do the work. I was right there. And I engaged Feke in the ceremony, and I represented him, put him on the pillar of Neptune. There's a pillar. We got the pillar of Neptune. To you is Neptune. To me is Tangaroa. And I enlisted the powerful medicine of the clam or the pearl shell, where it has the clam, because that was the safe. So Feke would take the clam and go to the bank, open up the vault, steal back the ruby that belonged to India and bring it, place the clam on top of the pillar of Neptune, and then the giant bird of Toroa, which is the albatross, would come, take the clam, fly all the way to Sri Lanka and the mountain of Adam, or Adam's Peak, which is the Diamond Pyramid Mountain. That's a cave there of the Kumara, and shove that clam right inside the cave, and then send it. The dragons would take it and send it through to the other dimension in the mother's rib.
Wow.
These words were exactly what I said was happening, and this is why I was doing the ceremony, because that story I knew. That's one little moment. But that was to support the cracking open of the financial systems. That was actually part two. There was part one before that, which took place at Area 51 in Nevada. And that's when when I first engaged Feke to the tentacles of Area 51. Those were the words spoken.
So you're using your Lemurian language in a way to get access, almost like remote view, to see what's going on and to reveal. You're playing a very important role in disclosure. Now,
yeah, this is what I was told by the people who are in charge of the RV, and a couple of them said to me, "You're the reason why this sort of thing is happening." I said, "I'm part of that, but a very important part. You have to understand, Area 51 it belongs to Feke, because what you're doing with all of these tunnels, you have the central hub, and then you have all of these tunnels that are basically tentacles." Said that is the energy of Feke. Just that construction, that type of architecture and framework is the energy of Feke.
There's one big Feke under the Ukraine, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. There is, absolutely. I know.
Man, think about the Vatican's Feke.
Exactly. See, to have a central hub and to have all of your activities, your nefarious activities happening in all directions, you must have a hub and you must have tunnels.
That's true.
As your London too.
Oh yeah.
But those are not tunnels, and that's not a hub. That's Feke construction.
And I remember when I asked you, I was trying to understand the way you are you can hang out with anybody, right? I've noticed that with you. You can keep the conversation really simple. You can keep it magical, and then you can go so deep. And I remember asking you, I was trying to understand all of this, like what you're saying with the Feke and all. I was trying to grasp it when we were first meeting. It was just going over my head, but I knew there was something special there. And you looked at me and you said, "I'll make it simple for you." You said, first, things must take place in the energetic before they can become 3D and real. And that's with everything.
You know, one of the ways I share that insight, and we all have, as you said at the beginning, we have different ways to communicate sometimes the same thing, is if you think of the four elements, fire is the lightest, earth is the heaviest, fire is spirit, air is mental, water is feeling, and earth is physical. So Western medicine treats pretty poorly, but it treats it on a physical level, and it can be very good in emergencies, but it doesn't treat spirit.
Yeah, the
There's
energetic
a-
emotional.
There's a Band-Aid,
Yes.
and then there's the solution. Yeah.
It's interesting though, the solution, solutio, means water. So the
Yes,
solution is in the water.
the solution.
Back to your
is water.
feki.
In the water. The fecky fecky's in the water.
You watch the movie Mandalorian when he's in episode 2 of season 3.
Yes.
They're going through, it's episode 1, and they're going through the hyperspace.
Yes, I remember.
And he's looking, right? He goes, ooh, Grogu's going, oh. Right in there is the whale with tentacles.
Yes.
That's fiki energy. Now, if you were to say, okay, like you, each one of us here, we all have fiki energy. We all have fiki tendencies. Because we always create the hub or the source, and we always source it out. We outsource, we insource. It's always going from the center and out and then back in again. This is a construction architecture of fiki. You already have it. You can already speak to fiki.
And I understand that, okay, I'm just beginning the Dragon Masters course. So tell us, take a moment with the feki and just let me understand, like I know the days of the week, like Rehu is Monday, which I love the story behind that. And then I understand the motus with the months. What is the feki a part of?
Fiki is a part of the omnipresence.
Okay.
It doesn't require contained space. It's too omnipresent for that. Okay. There's no container for an octopus. If you put an octopus in something, it will always get out.
So it's almost like consciousness.
Yes. Yeah, a fractal of the consciousness.
Yeah, fractal.
And the fractal of the
period.
is so infinite. Right? It's so infinitely huge. Now imagine you, and don't imagine it. Be with it. Literally, you have the fiki fractal within you. And imagine that essence, being, and light is so huge in the infinite universe that is what you have. I'm not just talking about you.
Are we in the period of fiki then? Can you tell, when did it start? And when
Funny you say that. It's showing up when people are ready to see the fiki and ready to feel the fiki. And you're opening your consciousness, just opening much wider to receive the things that I'm saying. Months ago, I couldn't say this to you. Like on Waritusa, even for many months, it took years to share some of these things. And again, I'll go back to saying that the ancestor masters said, you got to go and share. And I'm like, I don't want to share. I don't know anything. What I know? Why would they want to know about an octopus? Why would they care about an octopus? No, you've got to go and share. Because I have all these little bits to me that they were like, I don't want to share that. That's like baby stuff. Why am I going to? Why are they going to listen to me about talking about a baby octopus? But it wasn't so much that I learned that it was connected to so much more as I began also delivering the missions and working, confirming. Now we're talking about upgrades and confirmations in this conversation. We're talking about upgrades. That was the theme of this call. I haven't even put out a call for a question yet, so we got to get to a question in a minute. Are we satisfying that we are on the same page here?
I'm with you. I'm walking through that door. I'm ready. I'm ready for what I can learn from you. Yes.
What am I? I mean, I'm learning.
My role today was very much supporting role. So I feel, that's my job today, not to sort of spout too much.
He's my security blanket today.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love. Look at that octopus. That's very fine.
Oh my goodness.
That's really stunning. Oh yes,
I might have to put on my glasses.
I'd like
for
to
that
have one of those. That's really magnificent.
Oh, isn't that fantastic?
As they say in French, it's magnifique.
Magnifique.
Okay,
Incroyable croissant.
You are funny.
Hey, so
Huna, you're a hoot.
I'm just having too much fun, brother and sister, and appreciate these moments here. Look, do we have a question?
Oh, yes.
That's just the thing. Let's show off some of your website, and I've got a little image here. Waritusa, I'd like to share that, and we can go to a question. How's that? If I can just
sure.
invite you to be for you to be quiet for a moment while I share this. We share your website, or maybe we can chat, but it is kind of going to be an overlay. So far, I have it as an overlay.
Yeah.
So, sweet dear ones, just think of your questions now. Remember, this is interactive, live and interactive, sweet dear ones. If you have a feke, great, wear it. And you have a question, you've got to come on the screen to get an answer for your question. You got to, Huna Tamake will bring the link. Come and ask the question. In the meantime, I'd like to share this overlay. Okay, I'm going to turn our cameras off for a second.
I should get on your website. We should say it.
Because we can hear you, but I'll just invite you to turn your camera off for a moment. And could you speak about your website here, Waritusa?
Sure, I would be happy to. I do want to say that my name George gave me the name for the website. Venus in the 12th house, because I have a thing for Pisces and Piscean. Sorry, I'm going with the draconian system, but maybe we'll upgrade the name someday to something more Lemurian. But it's beauty from the depths of healing. So I offer two things. I offer this quantum biofeedback, which is the Atlantean technology we've been talking about, and I work remotely. And I don't want it to be that I am dismissing this technology, because I'm not. It has done wonders for me and continues to do wonders for other people. So I'm happy to help people peel away layers of pain and trauma. I specialize in emotional and spiritual healing. I do it one gentle layer at a time. I'm very nurturing, and that's what I can help people with. And the other thing is the Marma facelift, but that's something I do in person. I actually turn back the hands of time with my hands using energy healing, and it's a plastic surgery alternative. So I offer these two things, and one day soon I hope to offer healings as a dragon master, and specifically, hopefully, healing for children. So yeah, this is more of just sharing who I am. I don't expect this to be some kind of advertisement. I just like to be able to share more of who I am and what I offer. Yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. Okay, let me just clear that.
And I would like to also let people know that I know George is here in a supportive role, but I love his website. His website is georgehLewis.com. Yes. You see his beautiful artwork in the back here. You see his beautiful artwork throughout my website. I don't know. It's worth your time to enjoy his visually appealing website as well and see what all the beautiful things are that he offers. I have to say his astrology readings are off the charts.
I apologize, I haven't got that up right now.
Oh, no, don't worry. I wasn't expecting my site to be it's very sweet of my friend to share. But it's all about Venus in the 12th house today.
Oh, okay.
Let's okay, yes. So if we have a question from our audience, sweet dear ones, sweet dearly beloveds, if you have a question, know that you have to come on. If you have a comment, we'll take one comment, but know that you have to enter into the stream. We would like to see you. In the meantime, just a little bit more on the feke as we're waiting for somebody.
Look at my tentacle. My tentacle's a bit erect.
He's so naughty. Naughty in a good way.
That's a naughty tentacle. Yeah, you know, and the Feke talking about in Nevada when I enlisted Feke's energy to go through. This was 2013, and at the time there were a couple of us that were saying, you know, when this Feke goes through all the energies and clears things out, there's and I was saying that Trump is going to be elected. Trump is going to be elected president. Yes, Ripeka, you can jump on and have a comment. You get one comment, okay? So in 2016, he was president. And Feke is at the time the intention to let Feke loose in the Nevada, or to activate and turn the tunnels and have the tunnels turn against them. In other words, the tentacles turned against those who felt that they were, you know, and so back then the systems were being pulled to bits, and then Trump became president.
Mr. Trump was always very motivated from the get-go about saving the children. I mean, it's when anyone really starts to peel the onion and get actually focusing on the real truth of it, that's his primary motivation, was to save the children. And you can see it in the expression of his wife. She's very, very, very fifth dimensional, and the way she protects children. All her work between 2016, when she was, well, symbolically in the White House, she loathed the White House for other reasons, but she was always doing stuff for the children.
Yeah.
Yes, and so we began witnessing the financial system for the United States having a turnaround, and so much of being revealed with Trump being in there. Okay, now Trump towers all over the world. There was also another moment that came around where Feke was enlisted to help reconnect the towers into the highest line, timeline and ley lines of Lemuria, including the 5G towers, all towers, including the ancient towers, or the Tor. Okay. Now, the other day, a few days ago, what showed up from Huna Kahasahi, she shared, or was it you, Tamaki? I forget. There was a tower that was shared, and the tower had Feke climbing all over the tower.
Oh, I saw that. I saw
Yes.
that. Yes.
And so that's and that just happened the other day. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Wawa nui.
Katariho, wawa. Katariho.
Wawa
Did you
nui.
bring some fry bread with you?
Not
No
today.
fry bread?
Aroha.
Hi, just introducing you both. Huna Wari Tusa and Huna Wari Ma and Huna Katariho. Katariho.
Kia ora.
She's in New Zealand, by the way.
Mhm.
So,
Yes,
are you
I
having a
am.
good time? You having a good time?
Always.
Are you having a good? And I know you know about Feke.
I was just starting to write about it actually, and yeah, I'm doing a report, and I was starting to write about, of course, Nanny Rose's Te Wheke framework,
Yeah.
right? And
Go ahead
so
and
yeah.
share. Go ahead and share a perspective of this.
Well, so it's Nanny Rose was a teacher. Nanny Rose Pere, she comes from Tūhoi, from Lake Waikaremoana, a really sacred area where our tohunga and tohungatanga and the medicines definitely stayed alive and is still practiced, and very sacred learning back there. So she was in the education system. She was a primary school teacher, and then she developed this framework, spoke a framework, wrote it for us, of Te Wheke, which was based around Eo, Matua Te Kore, the Godhead at the head of the Te Wheke, and then it had 8 tentacles which are really ways of being, right? Ways that we could be. I've looked it up so that I can read them off and not take too long.
Okay.
The concepts, her concepts, wairoatanga, so that's our spiritual dimension, number one. Taha tinana, so that is to look after the body.
Yeah.
He taonga tuku iho, the breath or the treasures that come, our memories, our ancient memories, these reconnections to Lemuria that we're going through, for instance, and all our other lifetimes. The mana, the divine authority of yourselves and of I and all of us and every living being and every living thing. The hinengaro, which we call the hidden mind, or our mental and emotional beings. Ranga Fatu Manawa, the divine and sacred heart, right? So relating to our emotions, our feelings, and our sacred hearts, and leading our lives, actually. Modi, that being our life principle or our life force, that's the 8. And and the central Godhead at the top. And I assume that they align with other things. There's also kōrero of rangiatia, or around Rarotonga, being like that. Rangiatia, the place of our atua, right? And then the Pacific people spreading out in the 18th.
Tahiti, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Tahiti.
Yep. So, did you get that, guys? Any questions?
Yeah.
Any correlations and questions? Go ahead, shoot.
You were saying?
Oh, no. I don't have any questions.
No, that was very beautiful. I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
So absolutely, sharing what the Waitaha Kuya of Waitaha, which is Rosemary Pere, who passed away some time ago now, who, by the way, was also a student of my Huna. She was also a student of the boss of my teacher, who was my parents' teacher as well. Arakahana de Piripi, te Paniariki o Manuariki.
Would you be able to share that? Would you be able to share, Hunaka, what you wrote down there? The 8?
Yeah.
Share that.
It'd be awesome.
I'd love, if it's possible, I'd love to sort of study that in a little bit more detail.
It's a book, actually, published book called Te Wheke, and I'll pop that up too. Yeah.
Okay.
Te Wheke is in our language spelled Wheke.
I wonder whether it's related. You remember when Mr. Trump talked about confetti?
Confetti.
Yes.
Maybe
What
he
did
was really saying with Wheke.
Yes, because he could
so
be.
We wish.
Because at one point I thought he was talking about the adrenochrome, but apparently it wasn't. He was talking about something else.
Kofefe.
Yes, what is kofefe?
I don't know. There were all
Yeah.
kinds of things.
I mean, maybe he's talking about the Lemurian.
Well, that's, the language of the child, and certainly he's like that. He says things that are like
Totally, he's a child. He's regular. He's 29 degrees Leo on the ascendant.
Oh my gosh. George, you knew that President Trump, he was going to be president, Huna.
Yeah, I shared that in 2013-14 after engaging the energies of Wheke and having the tunnels turn against each other and pull each other to pieces down in there. And then saying that when that starts going through a certain percentage of that, Trump is going to become president.
Wow. And then look at that. You're using your mastery. And then I remember George was using his mastery. With his astrology, he did both. He did Clinton's chart and he did Trump's chart. I think it was in 2015, George.
Yeah.
And he said, look at this. Look at these two charts side by side. Trump is clearly destined to be president. That's how it works. And he was showing all of us, and he was screaming from the rooftops. And same thing. You knew. When you know, you know.
Yeah, well, I was getting that from the tunnels, from Wheke's energies down, and we engaged the protocols of Lemuria. We were doing a Waikato protocol. And I'm going to just share a little bit about this because this protocol is aligned to how the kuia of Waitaha, Rose Pere, aspiring to her construction of her representation there was applied in that time to the mission that was given. Now I had 4 pairs of hunas, masculine, feminine. They surrounded Area 51 on the 4 corners, 100 miles apart, 100 miles squared. I sent them on location. They all had a hotel they had to stay in. And when we were ready on a time code, which was 1301 Pacific time, 101 is when the protocol was to be engaged and log in. I had 8 people there, and then I had 2 more, actually 3 more were in Iao Valley in Maui, in the Stargate of the Turtle of Honomotu Stargate number don't remind me. Stargate number 2, which was in Maui and in Iao Valley. I had 3 hunas in there. The kahuna at the time, his name was Bulla Logan. He was the authority of the kahunas in Maui, and two new hunas that were just sealed to stand with him. So there were 3 at the angel's door, and then I had 8 surrounding Area 51, 100 miles square, and I was at the door of fire with another Huna in Pittsburgh, all standing ready at linked into 1301 Pacific time, which meant Hawaii was 6 hours earlier, which meant I was 3 or 4 hours later in the time zones. And so there was 8 plus 5. Okay, and that's 14. So it was a 5 code to change everything. Okay, it was a cracking code of 5 to change the whole thing. I had recently, just before that, activated the Stargate in Pittsburgh, which is the Stargate Door of the Fire, which is Stargate number 3. Stargate number 3. That was the final one for Honomotu. And so we approached and logged into the ceremony, and we were in the formless, and we were there in the form. And that procedure was spoken of as, these are the words. I shared it on Facebook when I was doing this. And I said, if you'd like to tune in on this is the ceremony we're doing, which was an apex pyramid protocol. Right? It was a pyramid, 4 corners. It was a 4 corners. It was an apex pyramid protocol, kawa, and this was the intention. And the energies were being supported by the star nations of who are Feke. Is the star nations, the whales and the dolphin star nations coming through Maui, coming through the Stargate number 2 from the angel's door in Maui, coming through the door of fire to be released and sent through the door of fire where I was standing in Pittsburgh, which is the door of fire, all happening in this cycle, spinning, bam. It was huge. It was a huge, everybody reported what they saw, what they felt. And this was utilizing Feke's energy, but also, of course, the whale and the dolphin. And what the Waitaha are saying, the kuia, is that those aspects of her system were engaged within that. Certainly have to be. That's part of who I am. You cannot get past me and go around me on this, because all Māori are of this. You cannot go around the Lemurians on this. This is what we are. Now, I'm encouraging all those that this is also who you are. And remember, this is before confusion. So all the beings, all our family members are whanaungatanga. And if not, then we have what we call matua whangai, where we adopt you all back in. This is a very important part right now. The adoption of our people to return back to Lemuria, or return back to this feeling of the unified. And of course, there are many that are struggling with this, but that's why we're here to share. And the Dragon Masters are important in this as you go out to get your hands dirty and your feet dirty. Not like you haven't been. You have been anyway, right? But here's another reason why. Here's another perspective as Katariho is sharing the perspective from the Waitaha, which are those who carry the water. She's talking about Nanny Rose, who was also known as a Waitaha, which are the ones who carry water. And we're back to water again, Warema. We're always in water. We're not only in it, we are in 111.
It's interesting. I remember when I was an 18-year-old boy, I went to live in New Zealand for a year. And I taught at a school there. And it was wonderful going there and experiencing the water as an artist, and also meeting Maoris and learning some of the dances. So even as a young boy, I was very attracted to that Pacific influence, which of course is Lemuria. You see, I didn't know anything about Lemuria then, but I was instinctively attracted to it. That's the point.
And I'm so glad you're here to reinitiate and reconnect back into it, because it is not just Maori. Maori means the children of heaven. That is a flag. I mean, we're all Maori, right? It's even despite from saying Lemurian, they go speak to Lemurian. We go these steps deeper. Now you were connecting to the Maori then, and you're reconnecting to now the children of heaven. But you see, New Zealand don't speak about Lemuria as much. They speak about Maori.
That's right, because it's all become national.
But the translation is not being shared enough.
Yeah.
And I know this because I left home to go and share this in the 80s.
Yes.
And I was following the footsteps of my ancestors to go and share. And that's what they were saying. You need to go and share. And I'm going, I don't want to share. Well, they don't care about octopus. Why would they care about what I got to say? I'm just a black ass Maori. And they go, no, you go and share, and we're going to show you why. And then I remember, and I learned why, and they showed me, and I remembered. But the point is, there's flagless. It doesn't just belong to the Māori.
No, we're patriots of the world.
Exactly. And you would not have heard that in New Zealand as much, Lemuria. In a way, you talk moo.
There's memories. There's many who have memories, but probably not publishing it. We kind of
Right.
You know. We're a lot of us connected behind the scenes, but not necessarily quite talking about it in the public. Because as you say, Māori aren't necessarily ready for that quite yet.
And this is why we're going home in 2 years, and we are going home to share. And we're going to get dirty hands and dirty feet for sure. Okay, now, and I'm glad you're here, Katariho.
Kia ora.
We're so happy you're here.
Thank you.
You know, now the whole crew's here. We started at the bottom. Now we're here. And it is gangster. It is freaking gangster. You have to have some of this gangsterism, to be able to also come back and know that you can wash your hands and feet.
Mm-hmm.
You can wash your hands and feet. Somebody is asking, okay, what school did you go to visit, George? What about
I taught at a school called Huntley Prep School. It was between Wanganui and Palmerston North.
Yes. Good old Huntley, absolutely. And it's good that you still can smile about that.
Well, I mean, look, at the end, I'm very honest about my background. I went to one of the most famous schools in England, and I've grown out of the matrix. I don't really blame people. We were talking about this earlier. To me, it's the systems that are the problem, and we need to reform the systems. Humans, we get caught up in our own stories, in different systems. People are born here, people are born there, but really, at the end of the day, most human beings are just programmed, and we have to sort of deprogram them. Huntley was a very sweet prep school. I mean, it was a job I got to do what's called a gap year, because I wanted to have an experience of leaving England, leaving home, and my parents thought it would be okay if I did something, which they would approve of. So I did that, but then I got these wonderful holidays, long holidays to explore New Zealand, and that was just an absolute joy. I travelled the whole length and width of New Zealand, the 2 islands in that year.
Amazing. And of course, we're going back to speaking about Lemuria, and it's not been spoken out in the open, had been in as Huna Wakuya says, like underground. And what Katari Ho is saying is it's kind of underground on in the back. This is the tough part. Now is the tough part, that you're going to stand out in the face of everything and speak it directly now. That's why the Dragon Master attitude, character, how we say you're going to, is to be able to go there and come back again, to be able to stand there and take it all. And you know, and you're going to get a bloody nose. You will get a bloody nose for a moment if you are going to share, and you're going to share beyond the flags of nations. Right? You got to go beyond the flags of nations, because they will give you a bloody nose because of that. And then okay, you got to take it. Okay, you know, it's not so easy to give me a bloody nose, you know. But I would say, you know, I've got some bloody noses, and I'm inviting you
sometimes
to have the courage and be brave to be able to speak these things out in the open. And that's why today's upgrades, this is an upgrade. What is the confirmation? The confirmation is your commitment to come to the Dragon Masters, Waritusa. That is your commitment. That is a confirmation that what you are about to receive is a bloody nose.
It's okay. I can take it. If it can make me limitless, I'm in. That's
figuratively speaking. When you show up, when you go to show up and people get in your face, I want you to just also have the courage to stand with your back straight and be limitless in the face of it all. Yeah. Hey, do we have another question? Thanks so much, Katari Ho.
Thanks for your time, guys. Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too.
We'll meet you one day in person, I'm sure.
We'll come to New Zealand. I'd love to come back to New Zealand.
I might come to Mexico.
Yes, well, that'd be great. You know, we've got the dragon, as you know, the Dragon Masters intensive. Yeah, you know. Kapai.
Kapai. Ka kite koutou, wawanui.
Kapai tara. Okay. Any other questions, anybody? Yeah, just if we're getting another question, then we can carry along on here. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go tonight? What are you going to do right now? Waritusa? Outside of the Dragon Masters, I know you can go in and do the studying. In terms of what are you going to do? And this may take some time, you know. What is your intention tonight, tomorrow? What are you going to wake up and do in the morning? What are you going to say? Huh?
Well, my intention this evening, quite frankly, I haven't seen my friend in 6 months. He's been traveling. He's been on this beautiful tour across the U.S., waking people up, standing up for medical freedom, red pilling people, learning about water. I just need time with my friend tonight. And for me, my attention will be 100% there with my friend. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow, I look forward to digging in more to my Dragon Masters course, and then being with my babies and looking them in the eye. And I'll tell you, you said something to me a while back. It was in an evening when we were talking, and I was getting ready to go to sleep. And you said something so beautiful. You probably say it to everybody, but it was the first time I'd heard it. You said, go to sleep, sleep well, and dream the highest dreams of love. I took that with me every night. I mean, they're not my babies. They're my babies, but they're my niece and nephew. True. Every night I say to them, sleep well, my darling, and dream the highest dreams of love. I got that from you. I'm carrying that forward. It touches my heart. I want more of your magic. I want to every day I want to see more magic in the world. I want to, it's very serious what we're doing, this Dragon Masters course. But I hear what you say at nighttime. I hear how you said to me, and I've heard you say to others, that hummingbirds are tiny voices from heaven. That's magic to me. I want more magic every day, and I want to spread that magic. That's my intention.
That's beautiful. You almost make everyone cry.
Listen, if people want to be on this journey with me and my experience becoming a Dragon Master, I'm ready to share it because it's so deep and so intense and so big and so beautiful. It's taken me 1.5 years with you to get to this point where I'm ready.
It's interesting. She really is representing the Piscean archetype. And it's interesting that we're in March, we're in the middle of Pisces, because it is that deep, deep, unconditional love.
What is your Huna? What is your motu? Sorry.
Mine?
Yeah.
The smiling gecko.
Smile.
Yeah.
And most times I've seen you, you're always smiling. When I met you where were we? We were in the castle in Spain for the dragon ride, and just you were just smiling all the way. You have a stuck-on smile.
I cry just as much as I smile, though. I'm going to be honest. I feel fucking everything, Huna. I hope I can swear on your channel.
You can absolutely.
Everything.
Please do.
Yeah, I feel it all, but I love to smile. You know what my mom said? I don't remember this, but she said up until I was about 12 years old, I didn't walk around the house. I skipped Cranston and
I could see that. I could see that, absolutely could see that about you. And that's your power, is your smile. That is your power. What is your Huna? Waritu sa. So there is the first love in the seed of light who stands in the circle of light. Waritu sa. Okay, now, if you're going to stand in the circle like this, you better be smiling. You need that. We all need that blessing from you. We all need that energy from you, from the beings of the smile. We could do with a lot of smiling. This world can do with the smile. This world can do with the Huna Waritusa. Huna Waritusa. This world can do with the Huna Waritusa. We can do with the Huna Warema. In terms of this light, what kind of light? Let there be light. What kind of light? Huna Waritusa light. What kind of light? Huna Warema light. What kind of light? Huna, 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 ina, ra in the light of days, inuwa in the seasons of love, inato in the light cycle of the year, ni marana, let it be before confusion. Ni marana, let it be crystal Christ light. Ni marana, let it be Lemuria.
Beautiful. That's really lovely.
I speak those in the login. That's exactly what I say in my logins and my practices and the sharing and through the Dragon Masters. Exactly. You're learning that. You are going to learn that. You will speak that in the Lemurian. Or exactly what I just translated. You're going to speak that in the Lemurian. And to translate it to others, yes, it is beautiful. It turns all languages to beautiful. It brings beauty to all languages, returns them back to beautiful, returns the smile. You have to have some education and knowledge and wisdom and even remembering, even the audacity to just speak it until you can really feel and understand and it be translatable. And it is translatable. Okay. And to share it, so the expansion comes for everybody. There's a curious people here, right? The sweet dearly beloveds, they're curious. What's Huna saying? What are they saying? What is Huna Waritusa? Why is Huna saying Waritusa? Well, this is a particular light. It's not a name. It's a particular light, and that particular light is infinite. It's why it's limitless, because Huna Waritusa is not a name. It's an expression of light. He's infinite and unbound. And that is the part of your Dragon Master. The Dragon Master is within that light. It's within there. It's inside of you, within you. That's why I said that in a message the other day. It's the Dragon Master is within you, the mastery. And your light fuels that. Yes, there's some tools that are coming. For instance, the rods of God. Oh, that's a big title. The rods of God, pulling and stretching the rods of God. Your rods that are of God's source energy within you, to be stretching and pulling them so they expand bigger and bigger and bigger. There's a practice for that, and that's what we share. This is just to get ready. This is just to get ready. This is just preparation stuff, when you're ready. So that's why I asked you, what are you going to do when you wake up tomorrow? Now that you're a butterfly, what are you going to do? What do butterflies do? Now that you're a smiling gecko that can jump through cupboards and can jump on doors and windows, what are you going to do? And smile at the same time? You're going to jump around and smile like a tuatara tomorrow. That's what you're going to do. You're going to receive your huna in a way that, and your motu in a way that you haven't yet, and you are doing that now. Integrating. And the Dragon Master is in compliance to your huna. It's automatic. It's a very powerful energy of your light, the Dragon Master. It's not about the serpent. Forget all that nonsense. It's an expression I share. I share it this way so that you have courage. The courage builds within you. I'm trying to install courage. Instill it, try to activate it this way. Not by trying to teach you, just by sharing the story of the Dragon Masters and the journeys that they are on. Is there another question? Okay, where are we? Where am I? I got carried away. Sorry about that. I got carried away. Sweet, dearly beloveds. I got carried away. Oh, someone's here. Oh, Tarakuya. Hey, hello, Tarakuya. We have you here.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes, fantastic.
Excellent. Greetings, everybody from Michigan.
Well, from Michigan.
Oh, I'm from Michigan. I'm born and
Hello.
raised in Michigan.
Hello, we just got a bunch of snow, so beautiful. Oh, excellent. So I have a question. So we're scheduled to go to the pulling of the nails in Cornwall.
Oh, fantastic.
Any advice, as we know our financials are in disarray? Any thoughts to that, or will that affect anything for pulling of the nails?
Just forget about financials.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
just what dates are you going in? When do you leave?
I think it's that Wednesday, the 28th, until April 6th. I'm staying a few days after.
Go and enjoy it. Cornwall is where I come from. It's just beyond beautiful. I mean, at the end of the day, what's going to happen is going to happen. How it's going to play out, none of us know. I mean, the banks are going to have to collapse, but I do genuinely believe we, the people, are going to be protected, because otherwise this whole timeline shift wouldn't have happened. And so, I think some people who are further up the chain will suffer more because they're the ones who are corrupt. But for people like all of us, I think our money is going to be largely protected. So just try and continue. My advice would be just go and enjoy and shine your light.
Well, I feel like if I need to do a little pirating, that's fine. Bring some physical stuff, and if something happens where, like our cards don't work, that would be prudent.
Yes.
So not going to let that prevent me. I was just thinking how many steps I'd have to climb up that pilgrim's passage up to the top.
Yes.
I've been doing a little bit of it's hard in the snow to do a little bit of workout, but when you've been in the winter months,
yes,
getting the body prepared. So
well, I mean,
it's all good.
I'm a great believer in just get out the yoga mat and just try and do some stretches, but also some lifting, a little bit with your own body, just, kinesthetics, if you like. Even if it's just with light weights, just to move your body, especially to prepare for the flight when you're sedentary.
That's all right. I'll just tether maybe a line right behind Huna Flesh.
Yeah.
You can just, you can be a support. You can just create a big long line.
Yeah, standard line.
Ah, that's funny. So looking forward to it because I'm going to be there, of course, that weekend. And then I decided since I'm going to be there, I might as well go visit Ireland. I might as well go visit Scotland, right? I might as well go visit some ancestral places.
Good.
You may as well. You're there, and this is, of course, your lineage. So if
Where
you
are
haven't
you
done it
from?
already, then you would do it.
Where are you from in Michigan?
I live about an hour north of Detroit in Metamora, which is a small town south of Lapeer. So I don't know if you know that area.
I'm from Flint. I'm from Flint.
Oh my gosh, we're neighbors.
I know. And the funny thing is, you and I are from the same place, right? I'm born and raised in Flint, and he's Cornwall. So it's like you're kind
Wow, there's like a connection.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I
what's
come-
everybody's
I come
motto?
Tintagel, near where King Arthur comes from.
I'm also the butterfly.
Okay, you're a kahuku, so a butterfly. We have the smiling gecko, and we have the turtle.
Turtle, yes.
It's amazing. Okay, this is a wonderful group right there. Wonderful group. And in the conversation, you are so arriving on by the 28th.
Yep.
Forget about financials. Just allow the Huna to bring you. If you need to rely on some energy, let the Huna energy bring you. Just let it flow.
Yes.
And these coming days, over this next couple of weeks, we've got 2-3 weeks before we go. Allow all that to come through. So much is about to change from now, starting in the morning, actually.
Mhm.
Should be nuts starting Monday morning in New York and in LA. New York is busy, but Silicon Valley especially. The whole thing in the United States is about to get a big whack from a big stick. Right? It is. Not you. We're talking about the system, and that's all going to change. You may be you before you leave. You will have so much at your available to you. I'm not going to say what it is, but there's so much energy going to be available to you before you get on that plane.
So what I'm hearing you say, Huna, is just to trust. Trust and flow. That's the mantra.
Why not?
I love it.
Yes.
Enjoy the ride. We're here for this time. We are here to experience this great ascension.
Why not?
And we've been waiting for some time, haven't we?
We have. That's absolutely right. I mean, Pluto does go into Aquarius a few days before you leave, which is going to be very interesting as far as the shattering of belief systems.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is what we've spoken of as Fiki's energy is going to push all the way through to September.
Yeah.
Okay. Fiki's energies is deep in this now, and so much change. Prophetically, I'm saying that the flash is coming on September 15th. I even said the date. But what I base that on is the 9 months.
Yeah.
9 months gestation period since the purging of the Lion's Gate in January 8th through now until through to now to March, which is an inception point. And from this inception point now into the arrival of the physical matter of the Christ consciousness into form, being birthed into the spring lamb, as so to speak, and that the birthing of the golden fleece energy to arrive, and that golden fleece energy is an energy that wraps the child in like a blanket. Golden
fleece in the Draco, or the Greek, zodiac. The golden fleece is attached to Aries because it's the Jason and the Argonauts.
Now that was inverted, and Lemuria is about a revealing. pulling the wool from your eyes, and that the wool was returned back to the lamb.
Yeah.
The wool was stolen from the lamb. Remember that. Now, this is an inversion. In other words, this is a return to return the wool back to the lamb. Who's the lamb? The child.
It's interesting because the way I describe it when I do my astrology, the selfish Aries is exactly that, to steal, to be selfish, to take for me. The upgraded high vibration is I'm going to teach you radical freedom, radical self-sovereignty.
Yes, I mean, giving the wool back to the lamb affords and offers the energy and the movement and the light and the action of the light to be gifted to everyone,
Yeah, exactly.
all of humanity, not just those who are of that particular motu, but for all of humanity. So who is the lamb? The lamb is the child. What is that child? The manifestation of the crystal Christ consciousness coming from formless into form, meaning coming into the child, the birthing at that month of September, that moment of the Namu Motu. You know,
why don't you do a prayer for us now, for everyone on this?
Okay, so at this time here in the HOH time zone of 6:30 here in just a moment. In 2.5 minutes, it will be a 33, which is a 6.
Yeah.
Which we'll have 2 6s in just a couple minutes if we can, and I will think of the words to speak, and so we will have a 6-6, which is a 12. So we will have a 12 in a couple of minutes. So as you're coming to the next couple of weeks to get ready to come to the wall of corn, and the Zans of pen, and the gel of tangential. I'm reversing everything now. Okay, and the words I'm going to share to speak as you asked are going to be the undoing of things. The undoing of things. One doesn't merely pray, right? One doesn't merely pray to wish for things. One brings action to the sounds that you make to this is a request. And we are not taking no for an answer. We're in a loving way, of course, right? In a loving way that put action to the sound. There's wonderful prayers and there's wonderful language in this. There's some wonderful wishes being spoken over these past 5,000 years, on and off. Okay, wishing. Okay, it's almost like wishing for good luck. We're not wishing for good luck. We're not wishing. We are stating it and we are requesting it. And this is the time, right now, where it's being supported by the energies of what you ask for. So ask for it. And not beg for it. Not in a way that I don't mean to sound so awful that you're a beggar, because you're not. You have commanding control of these energies and the way that you're going to say it. Let me say from now on, in your loving way, of course, however you will, that it is a request and you're not taking no for an answer, because you have commanding control of these energies, the lands and the forces of land, water, sky. You have control of this. Say your God, it's got nothing to do with God. It's got everything to do with what you are speaking and saying and espousing to and offering inspiration to. This is an inspiration, moment for inspiration. Let's be inspiring as we're now coming to 1832 right now. Okay, yeah. Huna Warema, align us through the wonderful sound, and then I will speak directly into it.
Okay. I'm going to actually use 2 sounds. I'm going to create a circle of fifths.
As you're
Okay.
sitting,
I'm gonna create a circle of fists. I'm just gonna, if we all quiet, you can hear it. I'm not gonna speak over it, otherwise you won't hear it. And then afterwards, you can share some of your, maybe make an offering.
yes, I will invite everyone to sit with the hand of receiving and giving in quietness.
Okay, take a deep breath in through your nose.
Tihe, Modi, Ora. Grateful for the breath of life. Ma, ha, ka, wa, ta, he, ta, wa, ka, ha, ma. First light, first breath, first birth, first love, first stone, first fire, first stone, first love, first birth, first breath, first light. At this time, at this moment of this great now, this eternal moment of all eternal moments, we bring forth all that is of the highest intentions that will serve the all now, that has served the all now, that will serve this now. We invite those energies, those vibrations, those frequencies, those magnetic gifts of the potentialities to be here now. As we invite this understanding, we are making this request to be actualized, to be physical, to be manifested, to be catalyzed within the self, to affect outside of the self, to invite this understanding and this knowing that all that is outside of ourselves is of what is inside of ourselves. All of the love in the name of all mothers, all fathers, all the children, and all of the light. Let it be now. Let there be light, and let the now be of all the light of wealth, the light of health, the light of sacred governance, the light of sacred speaking, the light of the sacred heart, the light of the sacred, extreme sacredness of giving, and the extreme sacredness of receiving all that has served into the potentialities to serve us now, and to be service of all mothers, all fathers, all children, and all of the light in the now. And so I say these things, and I proclaim these things, and I request these things, these speakings. In the name of all mothers, all fathers, all children, all of the light. Tihe, Modi, Ora, grateful for the breath of life. Ksa.
That was beautiful. Thank you very much. That's a lovely way to end this beautiful time together. Thank you.
Yes, yes, and thank you so much for spending the time. I know the hours have changed for you, so thank you for making the adjustment.
Pleasure.
For the House of Huna. Huna Tarakuya, thank you for your participation here. Sweet dear ones, sweet dearly beloveds. You know what to do when you're going to wake up in the morning, right? You're going to be gangster. You're going to be gangster. Get it. Let's get at it. Invite our mate.
Fecky.
Invite Fecky. It's all good. It's all good. Invite the tools and the mastery of the Maria. They are available now. Thanks to Huna Waritusa, Huna Warima, and thank you, Tarakuya. Thank you, sweet dearly beloveds. Thanks to Huna Tama Ake. There you go. And what a wonderful journey today. Wonderful conversation. Just beautiful. So much wawa to you all. Wawa nui. Much love. Wawa nui. Much love.
Wawa nui.
Wawa nui.
Wawa nui. We see you on the next run of HUNAFLASHTV. Thank you for making this channel so amazing.
Lots of love to you all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.